We will discuss Urantia Book, Paper 2, Chapter 2, verse 1 to 7. Humans are beings who continuously seek perfections. However, from a human perspective, perfection is always relative, unstable, and frequently changing. In contrast, the perfection of God presented in the Urantia Book is absolute and eternal, embodying fundamental truths about universal existence. Today, as we explore the eternal perfection of God, we will delve deeper into the insights provided by the Urantia Book to understand the false meaning of perfection and its relationship with humanity. First, God's perfection is absolute and eternal. The Urantia Book describes the nature of God with the statement, I am the Lord, I do not change. God's plan and purposes are inherently immutable and eternally perfect. From a universal perspective that we can comprehend, God's actions possesses a finality and completeness to which nothing can be added to taken away. This means that God, as a universal being, does not commit errors or changes and executes all things with perfect wisdom. The expression, a thousand years in his sight are like yesterday, when it is past, and like a watch in the night, emphasizes God's eternity beyond temporal limitations. Although this surpasses human comprehension, it nonetheless provides profound reassurance and truth. Second, God's perfection includes divine goodness beyond moral righteousness. God's perfection transcends mere ethical and moral righteousness. The Urantia Book emphasizes that God's original perfection lies in the intrinsic goodness within his divine nature. God is ultimate, complete, and perfect in every aspect. Furthermore, God does not remain self satisfied. Instead, he continuously bestows and shares himself with all beings in the universe. This divine quality is distinctively evident in his purpose of evading volitional creature, especially those in the worlds of time, including humans, toward participation in paradise perfection. Thus, God's perfection holds special meaning as relational perfection shared with the creation rather than self contained perfection. Third, God's perfection genuinely relates to human imperfection. God does not directly experience imperfection in his personal existence. However, as revealed in the Urantia Book, God shares the experiences of imperfection and immaturity of creatures living within evolutionary universes created by the Creator Sons. God understands human imperfections and through this expands divine self realization within the evolving lives of mortal beings. Although human limitations and the possibility of evil do not belong to God's nature, through these experiences, God connects more intimately with humanity, deepening genuine empathy and understanding. This connection forms a force basis for meaningful interaction between humans and the divine. God's perfection may seem like an unattainable ideal from a finite human perspective, But through the profound insights provided by the Urantia book, we recognize that this perfection is an expression of God's love and concern for us. God's perfection is not merely theoretical, but a living truth continuously experienced and related to in our lives. By contemplating and understanding God's perfection, we can move closer to divine perfection and enrich our lives more deeply. Recognizing the eternal perfection of God and striving to embody it in our lives is indeed one of the noblest missions humanity can pursue.